guys, happy Thursday night. I am doing a little bit of meal prepping tonight, and I thought I would share a couple tips that might help you guys out. A question that I'm getting asked a lot in my Ultimate Portion Fix Healthy Lifestyle group is about incorporating changes into the family, specifically kids and picky eaters. So I wanted to share a couple of things that work really, really well for our family and maybe pass them on to you. So one thing that we eat often around here is yogurt. So I like to give Sophie yogurt twice a week as a healthy breakfast option. It has like really good protein. I like to give her fruit with it. And sometimes she might have a little piece of toast or half of a bagel or something like that to go with it. So it's a really nice filling breakfast that gets her through her morning and into her lunch. But here's the thing, a lot of the yogurts that she visually sees in the grocery store that she would want to pick out are loaded with sugar, or they're the ones that have like the M&Ms on the top or the Reese cups. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Those ones that are like the container and then they have the clear container of like cookies on the top. So I always avoid those. There's not that much nutritional value. You're getting way too much sugar, and it really is defeating the purpose of having a healthy breakfast, right? So what we've been doing lately is just buying plain Greek yogurts, and you can buy unsweetened vanilla if they have it, but I just go plain Greek yogurt. The amount of sugar is extremely low. Hey, Megan. And you are getting a really high quality source of protein. And I measure it out, so I'm using my containers that we all use here. So I put it in one of a little Sophie approved bowl, and then I have pure vanilla extract. So that's what I will put in there to make it taste vanilla. Now, that in and of itself is probably not going to be enough for her, because if you've ever had Greek yogurt, you know it's a little bit tangier. So I have a variety of options. I like to use Flavor God seasonings. I found them on Instagram. You know how it is when you're seeing things and you see ads, and I just tried them out and I've really been a huge fan of them. But she really likes the buttery cinnamon roll Instagram. Hey, Miss Holly, hope your baby's doing good. There's less than a gram of sugar in here, and all of the ingredients are like organic coconut flour, vanilla, cinnamon, cardamom. Like, you can recognize and read those ingredients so you know that it's like a quality whole food source. There's nothing, there's no like crazy sweeteners or chemicals or anything like that. It's just all whole ingredients. So we can sprinkle this on tomorrow. You can use some fresh strawberries or like banana or pineapple or whatever you want. I am a huge fan of the chocolate donut seasoning that also, it's cocoa, cinnamon, honey, coriander, cardamom. It tastes like chocolate. It's delicious. I use this on my oats. And I just love it a lot. So she can also have that. There's also gingerbread cookie. I don't know if you're seasonal. I get that we are not really in like gingerbread season anymore, but if you don't mind that it's a little out of season, then you can have gingerbread cookie. So we'll sprinkle those on. The other thing that I like to do is I like a little bit of crunch. So I use these cacao nibs, and they kind of taste chocolatey or nutty. And they're just like tiny little, if you've never seen them before, it just looks like a little crushed up piece of chocolate. And they're amazing. Again, oatmeal, yogurt, all good things that you can like throw those in. And that's just another way to get a really healthy meal, and it's super easy. Like, this does not take time to spoon some yogurt into a bowl and like splash a little bit of vanilla in there. You can even use a little bit of like caramel extract or coconut, whatever you like. Try to get the pure. I know sometimes it's a little bit hard when you get into some of those flavors, but you know, do the best that you can. So I also make these for Mark, because he has to get at least 5 servings of protein in a day, and you know, sometimes you only want to eat so much meat. So I usually will give him a yogurt or some eggs or something like that. So I gave him the gingerbread cookie seasoning, and I think I'll throw a little bit of the nibs on there. And if you want, you can even do like a teaspoon or 2 of like mini chocolate chips. Like, that is not going to break the bank, and it's way better for you than the stuff that you would buy like at the store. And if you look at it, if you turn it over, they usually have like 20 some grams of sugar. Like, do you really want to put that into your body like first thing when you wake up? It's just not a good situation. So I'm encouraging you to make your own yogurt. Oh, I totally forgot one important thing. Almond butter or peanut butter. So I do put those in there too. And she's really been enjoying that. In fact, she asked me last week to not buy the store brand yogurt, to just make her own little yogurt bowl because she liked it so much. But like a teaspoon of almond butter, it gives it a nice nutty flavor. And again, it's just giving your body some healthy fat to start your day. All the better. So I made Mark's with peanut butter because I just am switching it up for him. But almond butter or peanut butter with your yogurt and your seasonings, you're good to go. Other things that we do just to kind of stay prepared. So when we were on the cruise, if you guys recall, I was on a cruise last week. Every night at dinner time, Sophie got to choose her menu. So she had to choose an appetizer, a dinner, and a dessert. And she chose the vegetables, like raw veggies with ranch dip every single night for dinner. And I was very, very proud of her. So for lunch this week, she said instead of having pepper, she would like to have more carrots and her cucumbers together. So that's what we did. So if you're having trouble like getting your kids to eat different things, ask them what they're willing to eat. And I know this is probably going to sound wild to the food shopping parents out there. Take them to the store. Like, I know that that probably is not ideal and you would prefer to just do your Target or Aldi shopping like on your own without your kids. I get it. But if you have a really picky eater, then I think the very best thing that you can do is actually physically take them to the store and let them pick out one or two new things to try every single week. Hey, Christine, and see what they think. So I was just having this conversation with a parent and said they had a very picky eater, and I told them that advice. And I said, he's a dad of boys, and I said, why don't you go to the store and ask them to pick out, hey, Taylor, the craziest vegetable or fruit that they can find in the produce section, and challenge them to like go home and figure out what it is and how to make it. I mean, how cool is that if you have a kid that like kind of likes those dares or those challenges? Maybe they'll pick up like an eggplant because it's purple, or purple cauliflower, or like monk fruit or star fruit, or some of those really spiky, you know, different kinds of vegetables. I mean, you never know. And then you can challenge them like, let's go home and see what this is. Let's figure out how to make it. And then I'm going to challenge you to eat it. They might learn something that they like, or take them to the frozen food section and, you know, play a game and have them pick out one or two new things. I mean, that's just the best way to do it. And honestly, the more that you eat something, the easier it gets and you start to like it. Like, I did not like beets the first time I had them. In fact, I'm pretty sure I said that they tasted earthy, and that was just my nice way of saying they tasted like dirt. But Mark Smith, who forced me to drink those beets in our juice, got me to eat the beets because he said, and I quote, they're not supposed to taste good, they're just good for you. But now I absolutely love beets. I love beets. I love putting them on my salads. I love heating them up and having them like as a warm dish with some balsamic vinegar and goat cheese. Oh my God, they're so good. So if you have not tried beets, I encourage you to try yourself some beets because they're really, really amazing. But you kind of have to eat things maybe 3 or 4 times. So don't completely rule it out. Let your kids pick out 1 or 2 things and see what you guys can challenge them to try. And if you are the picky eater in your family, and if you're watching, you know who you are because we've been talking, you kind of have to do the same thing. You know, I try to share with you guys, and I do this in my groups all the time, the sneakiest ways I find to get vegetables in. Here they are. Spinach, it's super easy. It's like the most innocuous vegetable. It basically doesn't taste like anything, and you can hide it in almost anything. So you can blend it in shakes, you can blend it in juice, you can cook it up with your eggs, you can saute it and serve it over your burger. It pretty much will do whatever you need it to do. So start with spinach. It's really, really easy. Mushrooms work really, really well in any type of ground meat dish. So whether it's ground turkey or ground beef or ground pork or whatever ground meat that you're using, if you dice up a bunch of mushrooms, it's just really going to mix in with your meat and you're not even going to know that it's in there. So we did that a lot in the beginning when we were making like cheeseburger casseroles and sloppy joes, and we were trying to incorporate more veggies into our lives. Mushrooms, okay? Onions, kind of the same deal, but you might notice them a little bit more. But onions, I feel like, are an easy thing. Hey, Ashley, I'm sorry, I wish I had, I know this is not Caroline in the kitchen. My Sophie is on her iPad tonight. But onions are kind of the same thing. I think that they taste very delicious, but I feel like when you saute them up in like tacos, it's an easy way to sneak a vegetable in, and they're more than likely going to be tasting the meat, especially if you season it up the taco-y way, however you choose to do that. They are going to be good to go and not even notice that there's extra onions in there. So there are sneaky ways to get your vegetables in, especially if you or your loved one are picky eaters. That's just really, you got to start somewhere. So mushrooms, onions, spinach, I say start with those things. Riced cauliflower, also another easy one. So if you're eating a dish that usually calls for rice, you can do half rice, half cauliflower. See if anyone notices. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. You can also put, I know this might sound gross, but rice cauliflower goes great in shakes or juice. Again, it's really just going to like use, if you're making juice, use like a really flavorful fruit like oranges or pineapple or mango that's really gonna like jump, and put some ginger in there, and then your rice cauliflower is just gonna go right down the tubes with it, right? Am I right? So what are you saying? We are getting ready to watch Top Chef. Oh, that's so fun. So me and Soph actually we did a baking experiment the other night, but we did not film it because it was a surprise for my coworker. We made a keto cake. Now, I do not eat keto. I don't need to eat keto. So it's not required for me for medical reasons or anything. And I like to eat all of the different food groups. But I have a friend who is doing keto, and it was her birthday this week. And I'm the type of person that, look, like, I really believe that everyone should eat cake on their birthday. I believe that 100% with my whole heart, and I pretty much eat cake for a month of my birthday. But I also believe that if someone's working really, really hard to make dietary changes, I don't want to give them something that might derail them, even though I feel like you should treat yourself on your birthday. You know, if they're really working hard, I don't want to put that in front of them or tempt them or make them feel obligated to eat something that is not going to do their body good. So I researched, I Googled, I found some recipes, and for some reason I had all the ingredients to make a keto cake and keto icing, and we did. And Sophie and I made that. Now, she not necessarily, oh, I know, there are healthy ways. She didn't necessarily feel like it tasted amazing because it didn't have sugar in it. It didn't have a lot of the different things that, you know, you might normally find in a box of cake mix, but it supported my friend, and, you know, we were really proud to make that cake for her. And I actually did put a layer of cacao nibs in there. I was like, I got to give it something. And we put a little bit of unsweetened shredded coconut on top because those are things that she can eat. And it still felt like a cake to her. So happy birthday to our friend who is eating her keto cake. Hopefully, she said it was good, so there we go, right? But that's just my 2 cents on it. Now, if this is something that you guys would like to learn more about, I am starting a new group. It is starting on the 15th. So if you missed my first group, I'm going to do another round because I keep getting requests and questions, and it's just easier to kind of get you guys going in another group. But if you would like to be part of that, if you would like to learn how to eat healthier for yourself, if you would like to learn how to master your portions and all the colors of the rainbow, or maybe you have someone in your family that needs to make healthy changes, well, it's got to start somewhere. So you learn it, you implement it, and you roll it out to your family, and that's kind of how that's going to go. So hopefully I gave you guys a tip or two that you can use. The seasonings, again, are the Flavor God seasonings. These are good for yogurts and shakes and oatmeals and, you know, seasoning, anything. I mean, they have more than just like dessert type flavors, but since I was talking about yogurt, that's kind of what we focused on. And that is all. So I'm going to run. Hey, Ashley and Caroline, I hope you guys have a nice time watching Top Chef. I'm going to go check on my Bambino here in a bit, but I hope to see a few new faces in the 15th Spring into Shape group, right?